Today, to be successful, marketers and by extension the advertising agencies have to ensure that they deliver singularly powerful and differentiating messages about their brands to consumers who can access media directly, influence media, influence thinking, and are themselves the medium. The media landscape is continually evolving, hence one-way communication is becoming extinct. Simply putting messages out there has become lightly ineffective. People want to be a part of the conversation. And you know, when the Toyota Yaris was introduced in America, what Toyota did was to put the car in their showroom. And if you wanted it, and they put all these devices in the car, where you didn't need a salesman. You went in and started pointing things, and the thing was talking to you, and you also corresponded, and he told you everything about this car. And even invited you to have a test ride. That's the way media is going. If you look at the way P&G are doing business now, it's not about television commercials anymore. It is, you need to experience their brand. You go to a supermarket, you demonstrate, you can demonstrate, you can see how these things work. The context in which media is placed and how it is communicated is as important as the content of the message itself. You know, there is this very popular program. It's been running now for a long time. Super Story. You guys watch Super Story? I'm talking about context now. If somebody is running a program and it has no relevance to you, it's just that you're not going to watch it anyway. So any information you put there is just a bloody waste. When I have the privilege to sign checks for some of our companies, I'm amazed at the amount of checks that our media companies give to what's the name of this man? While they are doing it's just incredible. If you guys know the kind of money that guy is making, you will collapse. Just by developing context. To some of the phenomenon, everything we do is the new media. Communication is getting more personal, experiences are now social and shared. For a brand's communication to be successful, there must be a perceived human voice. This voice must be seen and ready to engage and relate to consumers that can be identified either as individuals or groups. You know, once upon a time, when you define the consumer, you define them in various contexts. Today, it is you or the thing. It's a one-on-one situation now. That's the honest truth. By taking a cue from the consumer's perspective, this voice has to understand the need for relevance and meaning beyond the primary function of simply encoding messages. In essence, communication must be relevant, engaging, and interactive. Because of the active involvement of the consumer in the process, it is important that we understand how they now adopt media, how they perceive media, how they differentiate media, and most importantly, how they use it to inform, influence, or manipulate others. Advances in technology now allow consumers to move into what hitherto was the precinct of the traditions of advertising agencies: idea generation, reproduction, to media buying and distribution, and they are now customizing it to suit their needs. I've said so, people can do things themselves. From the comfort of his home, a 15-year-old kid in Ayegbe, a city town in Ogun State, with a population in the province of 100,000, lacking in potable water, but with access to a desktop and internet through MTN, can develop an app using free software downloaded online and distributed by iTunes or Amazon, or share on LinkedIn or Facebook, all within 24 hours. So what have I gone around this time to tell you? The digital revolution has ensured that people are no longer just consumers. They participate in the creation of ideas and products, production and distribution, as much as any marketing communication relates. The implication for this is inherent in the fact that the homogeneous brand messages will be built to make and deliver on behalf of clients are being increasingly ignored because people have better things to do. That can be verified, isn't it? They enjoy being part of the communities that they are genuinely, enthusiastically involved in. Going forward, the new principle. So what are we going to do? Pack up and go home? Of course not. For me, in person, I've invested so much of my life in this business that I was so upset if all of those companies were to close shop and everybody were to go home. So what are we going to do? Let's learn from ourselves. Companies are little communities of their own. Whether you go to MTN or you go to Etisalat or you go to any of these Nigerian companies, let us understand that they are little communities of their own. People brought together around a common context, a purpose. All the guys who work at MTN have come together for a purpose. They want to make life easy for us so we can talk, we can communicate. So are the people at Etisalat. The guys at Nigerian Police have come together with different skills to ensure that we enjoy life. After a hard day's work, we can have a cold glass of wine or a cold glass of star. So there is a purpose. We need to make sure they are connected as much as possible to the rest of society and the people who want to be a part of that context. In other words, how can we impact a Nigerian growth, a Guinness, a 7-Up, to ensure that all those guys who have come together, from the guy who is always looking at the product formulation, and he said there has to be new improved Heineken or new improved Star, whatever the hell it is, how can we partner with them to ensure that those who also want to connect with such ideas can continuously have what they want? Because don't forget, it's a free world. And people should be free to spend their money the way that they wish. Insofar as we decide to anchor our lives in marketing communications, so must we come to this conclusion that we need to find the best way of helping these clients, call them clients, to communicate best with their own consumers. Marketing communications is really about connecting people and brands, about doing something for people that's educating, entertaining, and useful, about tapping into the human element. It is not just about making 30-second TV commercials. So I'm saying that you are not going into that business, you are not in that business to just think of commercials. No, that's not the reason you are there. We must rethink this whole process. What exactly are we about? And how can we impact the lives of our lives? We therefore need to lay the foundation. By the way, when I talk about it, I'm also not closing my mind to the media people. How do people like Ken and his people ensure that that information that we are putting together, we find the best access to connect with the consumer out there? It cannot just be about television. It cannot. We therefore need to lay the foundation for building those communities that will in turn foster lasting relationships with consumers, brands, and organizations. Allow me to share some principles that marketers need to start employing to make this happen. Using storytelling as a technique to building strong emotional links with consumers. You know, for too long, I read the papers, the people who work in Africa, they say, we're not winning awards at Cannes, we're not winning this, we're not winning awards at that, we're not winning that awards, we're not winning the and please don't get our witness of articles about that. I laugh. Nigeria and Nigerians cannot win awards at Cannes. You know why? We are playing second fiddle. Some idea that won an award 2 years ago, you find our guys trying to replicate it here. As a poor copy. When I was a young kid, we used to listen to one woman, Mama Boku. Anybody had anything like that before? That woman told stories every Saturday on radio, and families would glue their ears to their rediffusion to listen to this story. It's true. We need to communicate with our consumers. We are supposed to be communicating with Nigerian consumers. The truth is that when we talk about stories here, I can bet my life 75% of the people in this hall cannot tell me any stories that has any connection with our roots. whether you are Igbo or Hausa, people don't know. And the one way that we can reawaken interest in the consumers by telling them stories, writing stories that have folklores, stories that connect with our roots, and then finding a way of linking it to the brand that you are managing, so that that consumer can see himself within that context. But if you keep writing all these Oyibo storylines that in which you are trying to mimic what the Europeans do, we're just wasting our time. Do a lot of things that can connect with the consumer. We need to build sustainable relationships, and we need to create fans. When we create fans, those fans love our brands, and then you begin to have repeat purchases. We need to encourage participation by creating opportunities for people to share their experiences. All right? Even when we tell, you know, when the way we do it, these things are all very contrary. I was listening to a commercial the other day, one of the detergents, I think it was. Someone said, my name is somebody, I live in Ajay. I begin, you know, I mean, yeah, okay, so you want that person to share, but you know, the idea wasn't genuinely shared for me. You know, it was a little bit contrary. You can see that the owners of the brand literally put the words in that woman's mouth. It couldn't be, it would have allowed that woman to tell her story her own way. And that's what happened.